It's a wonderful achievement, an astonishing achievement. We're standing here today almost 6 years ahead of schedule, and we're here to celebrate the hard work and the perseverance of so many people who've stood up for the towns and communities of this region. And that commitment, that endeavour, that drive, that determination has well and truly paid off. And everybody here today, so many people I see in the audience who've contributed, who've led, been part of that campaign and that effort, should be very proud. And indeed I hope that future generations will come to thank all of those for the water that will be enjoyed, not just for years, but for decades and decades and decades to come. As you know, the sheer scale of this project is impressive. The Wimmera-Mallee Pipeline, the new pipe system, runs for 8,800 kilometres. The old open channel system ran for nearly 17,000 kilometres. It's designed to supply 20 billion litres of water on demand to farms, to industry and to towns. And it services something like 10% of our state. And it will return, on average, 83 billion litres also back to our environment and back to our rivers. And when you think of the savings that have been made, it's often hard to explain to the broader community. It's often hard to explain sometimes to people in Melbourne just how much water is being saved through this project. But the water savings through this project, if you built a 25-metre wide channel, a metre deep, and ran it to Darwin and filled it with water, that's how much water is being saved every year through the piping of this system. And that's why this project was so right. That's why this project was so important to the future of our state and to this region. And it means security in the short term. It means opportunity in the future. It means that the farmers can get the water that they need when they need it. And I remember right back to 1983, when I was then a pretty young 29-year-old elected to the federal parliament of the seat of Bendigo, which in those days stretched over to Donald and Charlton. And my maiden speech, my first speech in the federal parliament, and I talked about the need for the Wimmera-Mallee Pipeline. I talked about the need to replace the open channels with a piped system. And of course, since then, there's been great progress, but today marks the culmination of decades of effort from so many people.
I think a very important announcement today, while I've got the opportunity to do that, is to recognise a contribution that is long-standing and great support all its way through. He mentioned it himself in his own discussion, but I'd like to name the pump station after John Brumby because he's been such a supporter for so long.